There is obviously a decision around Jamal Fogarty, and you could see from what Ricky said this evening, he doesn't want him to go anywhere. He's played such great football at the club, but it's the balance of the side and the emergence of those young players that has given the Raiders some serious strike.
Absolutely, and they're not using the youth as an excuse either for rebuilding. They've actually taken a really positive attitude towards all those young kids who, I've had a little bit to do with them in recent times. They can play the game. They're very, very good players, and it's through experience they're going to be obviously better. But at the moment, there's no reason, like you said, with the balance of the team and the leadership group and the front rowers that they've got, and with Corey Halls, but all the forward pack they've got really, it matches with the best in the competition, I reckon. There's no reason why they can't be successful this year.
What do you think is the next step for Jamal Fogarty? What options does he have in front of him? We know Manly are interested in reports of a 2-year $1 million deal. We know there's a round 6 option in the Raiders' favour. Well, what does Jamal do from here?
I think the Raiders clearly want to keep Jamal, but ultimately he's going to have a decision to make because the Seagulls will come to the table and will put an offer on the table most likely in the next week. That will be a 2-year deal valued at around $500,000 per season. My understanding is the Raiders are more than happy to keep Jamal. They don't want him going anywhere, but because of the emergence of other young guns at the club, they are only prepared to offer a 12-month deal. So Jamal's got a decision to make because he's got a young family, and it's one of those fork in the road moments where it's going to be tough.
Yeah, the only person who can make that decision is Jamal. You look at all the ingredients that the Canberra Raiders have at the moment. They're playing really well, but there seems to be a little bit of upside of what Canberra might be able to do in 2-3 years' time with those emergence of the players. Right? Then you look at Manly, and if that's the truth around the deal and things like that, are Manly in a better position in the next 1 or 2 or whatever? So it really comes up to Jamal in this family situation. So, but I'll tell you what, it'd be hard right now when the Canberra Raiders are winning these games, the way that they're playing, that bond that has obviously been created to walk away from. But the only person who can make that decision is your man on your screen.
Yeah, I got a view that also with Jamal. I mean, he's an organising half. So how valuable? And Jamal's 31. So how valuable is an organising half in the competition? So if he really, if he's happy, I know he's happy in Canberra. He loves in Canberra. His family loves it in Canberra as well. If he just wants to take up that one year opportunity, I believe that then other opportunities will come his way down the track. Who says if Jamal backs himself that he doesn't stay in that number 7 jersey as well? So I think that's what probably he'd be sort of musing around in his mind around, well, do I back myself? Because you ever look at all the halfbacks in our competition, all the better ones are 35, 36, 37 years of age. So, he's injury-free, he's a late bloomer. So I think his future over the next 5 years at least is fairly secure. So does he back himself 1 year of the race? He loves it there. Or does he take that security, I guess, for 2 years? But in saying that, there's teams coming in the competition, 28. So, there's going to be plenty of opportunity for him if he stays fit and healthy.
The Raiders went hard for Ethan Sanders, and he was one of the prized young halves coming through. Where's he at in his development?
He's a great young player. He's not far away. He's got an injury, unfortunately, at the moment. He's got a depressed cheekbone, I feel. I think he got about 2 weeks ago, so he's out for a bit at the moment. So that's sort of put his career on a little bit of hold at the moment. But he's an exciting young player, and there's no doubt he's a first grader. So again, that's part of the discussion that I guess the club's having with Jamal, and that's part of, like you said, Cooper, that's part of his decision-making process, and whether he's willing to stick around and help young players. And that's what the club has asked him to do, stick around and help these young players, because he offers plenty to the club.
You're spot on, Mel. I've heard Ricky say on numerous occasions that a big part of Jamal's legacy can be the emergence of these young gun playmakers. Ethan Sanders is one. He's played for the New South Wales Origin under-19s only a couple of seasons ago, and it's similar with Strange and Kyo Weeks and this next generation of green machine players coming through.
Well, with that, the Raiders are officially into the NRL's top 4 on the live ladder, and what a journey it's been for them over the opening 6 weeks of this premiership year. Well done to the Canberra Raiders, 50 points to 12 at TIO Stadium. Hoops, we are standing by to hear from Jason Riles. Parramatta, 40 missed tackles, 13 errors. Once the game, they just couldn't keep tempo with the Raiders. But you know, for the last 12 years, they've been taking rugby league to Darwin and really trying to have a bit of a cut through for the game in the Northern Territory. It's been a great relationship. Over the years, we've seen all the teams go to the crocodile farms and have snakes crawling all over them, and it's been really great because the fans have loved it. But for Parramatta, where do they sit for you at the moment? The
rugby league's everywhere at the moment, Von. We're in the Golden West earlier today, then we're up north in the top end. Where do Parramatta sit at the moment? Look, it's been a bitterly disappointing start for Jason Riles. He's obviously changed a hell of a lot in terms of their defensive systems and also just the personnel that he's using in key positions. They're missing their best player at the moment in Mitchell Moses. I think you've got to wait until Mitchell comes back before we can actually fair dinkum judge the Eels. But it's tough times and the losses are mounting, so it's the NRL. He's got to try and figure out solutions. Yeah, you can bring back the Australian halfback and a representative halfback, but defensively, that is Jason Riles' remit. That's where his strength is. He's a former forward of the game that's come through Craig Bellamy and Trent Robinson, and the way that they leak points at different stages this year. It was a much improved performance last week. There's no doubt about that. But again, when it came to the grind of a top 8 quality team, they're a different class. So can I ask, what is it that he's obviously made significant changes to the way that they are defending? What is it that at this point in time it hasn't quite clicked yet? I think when you've got experience on your edges, you probably need smarter footy IQ decision makers, and they've fallen away in that department. But then also through the middle, the game is, look what the Dogs are doing. They're sort of mobile pack with leg speed. You got Junior Barlow and Sean Lane a little bit on older legs that probably don't have the speed and agility to go up and down and force players into earlier decision making. So there's a bit to work with. I think Jason Riles would know all that, but a bit like, I'm not going to say it's going to end up like this, but Cameron Ciraldo had some teething issues early on at the Dogs. It's going to take a while for him to get those reps into the players, and that's his job to do, and he's got to do that quicker than everyone sort of forecast. And he's got a lot of young talent there as well, so... obviously Mitchell coming back is going to give that confidence. He has got that aura, Mitch. He walks into a room, he's a confident kid, his chest puffed out, and that'll obviously, lift the team around him. But, what I understand by, with young players, they've got to be playing in a system where they are winning, or they're in a system that understands what success looks like. So they can't get Mitch back quick enough, to be honest with you, because you don't want to be getting into the habits of losing all the time. Well, Parramatta have the West Tigers in their traditional Easter Monday clash, which always is such a fabulous rivalry. Then they've got the bye, and then they've got the Sharks in Magic Round, which is circled as the return for Mitch Moses. So hopefully some positive signs not too far away for Parramatta.